Hi, my name is SELİN, and today the topic we're going to talk about is how is pandemic going? So, if you want to understand what is going on in the world right now, we have to know the words pandemic, epidemic, and endemic. A pandemic is the worldwide spread of a new disease. We can also give the example of COVID-19 right now and SARS. An epidemic is a widespread occurrence of an infectious disease in a community at a particular time, and an endemic is the name of a disease or condition regularly found among particular people or in a certain area that takes less people. 10 of the worst pandemics are written here. The Black Death, it started at 1346. H1N1 widespread flu pandemic, 2009. Great Plague of Marseille, 1720. Russian Plague, 1770. West African Ebola pandemic, 2014. 10 of the worst pandemics is continuing with flu pandemic, 1889, American polio epidemic, 1916, Spanish flu, 1918, Asian flu, 1957, and AIDS pandemic and epidemic, 1981. There are certain things we have to know about pandemic in COVID-19. The first one is that it is reported COVID-19, like SARS, is a beta coronavirus that can be spread to humans through intermittent hosts like bats, like animals, actually. The World Health Organization declared the outbreak a public health emergency of international concern on 30 January 2020 and a pandemic on 11 March 2020. So the symptoms of COVID-19 are infection, including fever, cough, vomiting, and diarrhea. This is why it's called severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus. So what do we have to do to not get any coronavirus in our body? First, wear a mask. Masks shouldn't be worn by kids younger than 2 years old or anyone who has trouble breathing because it limits the air you can take so that it can actually have it inside of the mask and not give the air you breathe in to other people because you can have the COVID-19 without knowing it, without showing the symptoms, and we don't want anyone to breathe the air with the virus and have the virus for themselves. Two, keep away from other people and pets in the house. Like I said, just one slide before, you can have it from animals too, and animals can have it from you too. Three, cover coughs and sneezes with the tissue. Throw the tissue away and then wash your hands right away. Washing hands is really important. You have to wash your hands more than 20 seconds with good techniques. Fourth one, wash with soap and water for at least 20 seconds, as I said, or use alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Hand sanitizers are really important too. Make sure you have one, at least one, in your bag. 5. Use separate dishes, glasses, cups, and eating utensils, and not share them with any other household members. This is especially actually important for people who have got an COVID-19 patient in their house because we don't want any other people to have it. So they have to quarantine themselves away from the parents or anyone who has it. 6. After use, run them through the dishwasher or with them wash them with very hot soapy water. This is also important because you have to be clean and what you use also has to be clean. 7. Avoid touching your eyes, mouth, and nose with unwashed hands, especially outside. And also, one extra thing, if you buy something from outside that's coming with a package, make sure to leave it alone out in the open, maybe in your balcony, maybe in front of your window, at least for an hour because the fresh air has to touch it. This is a really important question. Why Spanish flu continued more than a year? So Spanish flu killed between 17 and 100 million deaths. And the reason why it continued more than a year is because actually people didn't care about it first. The first wave hit them and they just let it pass. They didn't do any research. They didn't try to find a cure for it. They thought that it would just go away. But then just because of this reason, the fact that they didn't care about it made it worse. The second wave was just killed more people and it was harder to find a cure because it was stronger and it was faster. So If we don't want to have anything like this in the future, if we want this pandemic to end quick, we have to take care of ourselves. What has pandemic taught us? To be patient. This one I can say about staying at home all the time from morning to night. We have to be patient and wait for this time to pass. To be grateful, I have been thinking about a lot of things lately, like how ungrateful I was about what I had in my hands, like going outside, going to cinemas, cafes, and now I understand how important they were. To enjoy life when we can, how important freedom is. Freedom is a really important word that all human beings have to go through, I think. And what we don't have right now is freedom because we cannot go outside. We are banned from going outside most of the time. How people can get used to situations when they have to. Actually, if a year and a half before, you would tell me, you'd come and tell me that I'm going to be stuck at home for a year and a half without going to school at all, without having any exams, just for once though. And I'm going to keep up with it. I don't think I would be okay with that. Like, I don't think I can say that I can go through that, but I did. And this can just show how people can get used to it if they have to. This is not a choice. You cannot choose it. You cannot say, yes, I want to stay at home, or no, I don't want to. You have to. It's a must to be happy with our situation. And it also taught us that we used to go to hospitals more than we actually need. I have been to hospital for once, I think it was for a dentist. And normally I would go regular checkups, but right now I don't have them. I don't go to them, and it's just fine. So, since we're stuck at our houses, what we have the most is free time. And this is about what to do with the free time: art, sport, and study. For art, you can do painting, drawing, singing, and sewing. I just started sewing and I sewed in house in a farm. It looks really good, but I have to work on it. And for sport, any indoor sport you want, if you have or if you find a place or space. Not everyone has it, so it's fine if you don't do it. It's just another choice if you want. Study, we need to study to have a better future no matter circumstances. It's hard because nobody wants to do anything, but you have to be better. 5 stages of grief. This is actually what we have been going through since the start of the COVID-19. Denial. We all probably said or thought that this was going to end quick, maybe less than a year, but it's been much more than a year. Second, anger. Personally, I was really angry. I thought that I was really unlucky to go through this kind of stage of my life at home, stuck at home, doing nothing, instead of going to outside and just going to cinema. I still think that I'm unlucky, but nothing changed it. Bargaining and depression. Depression is the longest one, I think, and the hardest one because it's happens a lot normally. So you don't understand the difference between this one and the normal depression you go through. You don't just understand the states. And the fifth one, acceptance. Even though we all regret it or maybe deny it, we get angry, we go through depression, as I said, we have to accept it and move on because there's no other choice. Pandemic doesn't end because you wanted to, or does never started from the start because you wanted. Percentage of consumers increasing time spent on each channel during the pandemic. Since we are stuck at home, this is just an understandable situation, but still, the first diagram shows in 48% of increase on social media, which is pretty much, especially for teenagers. The second one is 45% with TVs. There are lots of new TV series going outside, which are pretty interesting actually. And the third one is new websites and apps, like new social media apps maybe, because there are lots going on, with 47% of increase, and the last video mobile games with 39%. Even though it may sound less than most of them, which is, it's still a huge number if you care about it. The impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on Canadian families and children. This is just a diagram that shows it daily or almost every day. The screen time increased 89%. This is the question they asked, and this is actually the parents' answers, most of them. Reading books or stories, 62%. 61% with physical activities, 23% games, 21% music, drama, or visual arts, and 18% developing other skills. Thank you for listening to me. I hope this time just passes quickly and we all stay healthy.